Hey guys, it's Courtney back from Cosmic Clarity Astrology, and I'm super excited today to talk to you about this Taurus New Moon happening on April 27th. So, this is a significant new moon because we are experiencing a little bit of tension. As you can probably see in the chart here, we have a fixed T square. So that means that the sun and moon are together at 7 degrees of Taurus, which is a fixed sign. And it's also making a square to Pluto in Aquarius and Mars in Leo, which are both fixed signs. Mars and Pluto are in opposition. So it's basically making this little triangle shape. What does that mean? So when a new moon is a part of a T square, especially with such intense planets like Mars and Pluto, there is quite a bit of tension that can arise as a result of maybe conflict with other people or inner conflict around the next steps with something. I specifically pulled cards on what this could represent for us, and I got the Two of Cups and Nine of Swords as one option. So again, this to me indicates having some kind of disruption in relationship harmony, feeling uncertain about your dynamics with others and how to move forward with them, maybe having fights or maybe reading into something and having certain fears. This could be fears around, will I ever have a good relationship, or will I ever find somebody? Or this could be a fear of, what if X, Y, and Z happens? Or there could be certain insecurities that come up within the relationship. Pluto can definitely bring up shadows where we have people, going through power struggles, like who is going to have the say over something. And so there can be quite a bit of tension that arises within our relationships at this time, especially because Taurus is where the new moon is ruled by Venus, and that is a relationship planet. So for many of us, I think there is some kind of fear around disrupting the harmony of something, or fear around a relationship becoming imbalanced, or just having conflict that we have to deal with head on right now. This is a new moon, which does represent the possibility for a new beginning, and it's in the sign of Taurus, which has to deal with maintaining and stabilizing something. So whatever it is that's disrupted right now, whatever it is that's causing tension, it's trying to come to some kind of peak level energy in order to help us find something to root into, to stabilize, to find some kind of concrete beginning that will make us feel a lot more secure and maybe feel like we have more of a plan or more of a say or kind of control over something. So the other thing that this Mars opposition with Pluto squaring the new moon can bring up is the Two of Wands in reverse and the Knight of Swords. So I can see this kind of inner struggle going on with these cards. The Two of Wands in reverse speaks about somebody who is kind of stagnating a little bit in life because they are fearful of the unknown. And we have had Mars retrograde and Venus retrograde prior to this new moon. We've done a lot of reflection and almost like a hesitation because these planets were in retrograde. So even though we started off the year in January, really astrologically, we are just now entering into the phase where we're having all planets moving forward, and we're really kind of just starting off the new year now when it comes to forward momentum and making decisions and getting things truly moving or lifting off in our life in some kind of way. And so this Two of Wands in reverse can represent us being in this kind of period of stagnation where we were maybe indecisive about something. We were, considering lots of different angles, and we weren't really sure how to go about something. We didn't really have a plan set into motion. And after that, we have the Knight of Swords, which is a very fast energy, almost like an impulsive energy. We go from having no change or fear of change to kind of jumping straight into something and having immediate change or really fast moving action. And I think that just makes sense with what's been going on with the planets anyway, with things being slow, things not really moving forward, and then all of a sudden things kind of taking off. So I think that this Mars opposition can also represent a kickstart energy where we feel this pressure or almost like a desire to release the tension that has been building up these past few months as we've been mulling things over, trying to figure out the next steps for something in our life. Maybe we haven't, again, had a plan or had an idea of what we could do to achieve something that we want or put something into motion. And now this new moon is going to spark something in us that will allow us to maybe make some kind of behavioral change or have some kind of idea or make some kind of physical change in our environment to initiate movement finally, where we may have, again, felt quite stuck. So I see kind of two different things happening for people. I feel like for some, it's going to be relationship disruption or fears or fights and tension. And then for other people, it could be more internal around the speed of their life, the plan that they have for their life, their sense of direction, and how that's been slow and now it's picking up again. So another background besides, well, actually, let me start off with that. I was just talking about Venus being retrograde. So it's finally direct at the time of this new moon, which is important because this new moon is ruled by Venus. So to have this planet moving forward indicates that the things that are happening now in our life are going to progress our life rather than just be moments of illumination of our past or having some kind of awakening or clarity around something that we might need to adjust, but we're not actually doing anything. We're just thinking about things. No, we're no longer in that energy. We're in the moment of action, and a new moon squaring Mars opposite Pluto creates that inner tension in order to spring forward into action. Like, I can't do this any longer. I have to get things moving. I have to, feel this kind of rush almost of wanting to get things done. And what's interesting is the fact that, Venus being direct right now, it's currently at 28 degrees and 29 seconds of Pisces. It is now the third time that it's hitting this degree within these last few months. So Venus was last at 28 degrees of Pisces at the end of March and the beginning of February of this year. So throughout Venus's retrograde period. So just kind of think back, like, what was going through my mind at the beginning of February and end of March? Did I have certain ideas kind of come through or problems that arose or, shifts in my values or priorities? Did I have something that came up in my relationships or in my finances? Did I have some kind of idea that I wanted to implement but didn't actually know what form that would take or what the plan would be? It was more nebulous than that. So just kind of think back to that period of time, end of March, early February, to connect the dots, because we're going to be revisiting those things, those topics right now. And in fact, 28 to 29 degrees of Pisces in Sabian symbols really speaks to kind of validating something. So when Venus was retrograde, we were likely going through this period of time where we are reflecting on what is going on in our life and what isn't really working. I have a whole Venus retrograde video, so if you want to know what that might have looked like for you, you can go ahead and check that out. Even though it's already passed, I think it could shed a lot of light on this new moon as well. So I think that, it's almost like you're going through and you're seeing, okay, what's not working? What do I need to adjust? What kind of ideas do I have but not really have a plan for? Or what's kind of been a continuing pattern or issue in my relationships or dynamics with others? And kind of looking at those things. And then this whole period is about, this new moon now is about validating certain hypotheses that we came up during that time. So maybe we had kind of ruminations of something that we could potentially set into motion that we're going to be able to do now. We're going to be able to validate it now. And maybe you find at this new moon that you did validate something and it turns out that that plan wasn't what you thought it was. Sometimes you can move forward with something and it doesn't produce the results or the desired emotional experience. And that validates, I guess, in a way, the opposite of what you wanted. So either way, there's some kind of proof in the pudding when it comes to a Taurus new moon. It's something that is trying to materialize in the world. So we're going to take our idea and put it onto pen and paper, or we're going to sign a contract, or we're going to make a decision, or we're going to publicly announce something or make a purchase with something. Taurus wants that kind of, materialization of whatever this is. So if you have been considering changing something or doing something differently, this is your chance now to validate, is this going to work or not? And if it doesn't work, you can always adjust. And I think that's super important. Where this moon is taking place, which is 7 to 8 degrees of Taurus, the Sabian symbol for that talks about making something out of nothing with creative optimism. So I love this because I think that sometimes we can feel that we don't have the resources that we need to put our plan into motion. We can feel like maybe we don't have enough time or enough money or enough support, or maybe we're just lacking something physical. And so I think that this new moon is speaking to the tension that can create within us of realizing, hey, maybe I don't have a ton of money to travel if I want to travel, or to buy a house if I want to buy a house. Is there another way to go about this? Is there a creative solution to this problem? And can I, again, validate my hypotheses that I was kind of mulling over these past few months? And so there might be a new approach to the way that we can go about things at this time, or just a way to be kind of scrappy and inventive and resourceful so that we're able to take something out of nothing, or make something out of nothing, essentially. So this is a new moon that creates tension, but it serves a direct purpose for us, and it's going to help us materialize something that we've been thinking over for these last few months. And so all of this is going to serve a really direct purpose in our lives. So let's go ahead and take a look at what this is going to be like for all of the rising and sun signs. And you can even watch for the other signs in your chart where you have other planets. But if you enjoy this, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, support my channel any way you can, maybe subscribe, leave a comment. That really helps me out, and I will see you guys in the other videos. All right, up first we have my beautiful Aries rising. So this Taurus new moon happening on the 27th is taking place in your second house, and it's making a T-square to Mars, your planetary ruler, and Mars opposite Pluto. So it's like a little triangle with the moon here, Mars here, and then Pluto here. And this is creating quite a bit of tension when it comes to your financial stability or your personal freedom when it comes to how you make money. And I can really see that with the 9 of Pentacles and 3 of Swords. I feel like you guys might be going through a little bit of a phase right now where you're wanting more independence when it comes to your money or the things that you own. I can sense that there's some type of maybe relationship that you have with a boss or with the current job, or maybe you share some kind of finances with somebody else or a house with somebody else. There's some kind of shared situation when it comes to either your living situation or your financial situation or your job that I think is causing you quite a bit of discomfort. I think that there's somebody, because this card came out twice, this King of Cups in reverse. There's somebody that is maybe a little bit emotionally imbalanced, somebody that is maybe immature or having some kind of overreaction. There's something here where they might be cold, they might be ruthless, they might be unkind or anxious. Or you could be feeling this way within the environment or the work that you're in. So you might have a boss that's like this, or you might be feeling this way in the environment with this person. So I'm seeing that there's something here where you guys need to come into a place of being more self-sufficient or having more financial security so that you are able to potentially walk away from this situation. You have Mars in the 5th opposite Pluto in the 11th. And I really feel like you guys are meant to be having this kind of burst of energy and tension in the area of relationships, as well as kind of your own gifts and your own skills. And I think that this is supposed to create tension so that you develop those skills further with these 8 of Pentacles. So when I see, Mars in the 5th house, I definitely think of somebody who is leaning into what they're talented at and working hard at that. So I just feel like there's something that you guys might be able to like transition into working on your own, or changing maybe jobs, changing positions, changing the dynamic that you have with somebody else so that you have more money. There's something where I feel like you're kind of under someone's thumb in some type of way, and involved in an environment with someone or something that is somewhat toxic. And I feel like you're stuck. And with this Eight of Cups, you are fearful of leaving, I think, because you maybe don't have, maybe you do have the money, but I think some of you guys are fearful of leaving this environment. Maybe you're scared that you won't line up something better, for example. So I really feel like the message here for you guys is to be developing your skill set and financial independence so that you can make some kind of move to a different place. So maybe that is going back to school and you're going to be learning more about something so that you can have a new type of job. Maybe you're going to be going to another company where you can have some type of raise or a leadership position, but there's something here where you're going to be able to get out of the current situation that you're in if it's uncomfortable because of the pressure or the expectations or the unreasonable emotional attitude of somebody that you work with or somebody that you're kind of indebted to in a way. So that's what I'm seeing. Basically, you guys are coming into more financial independence, but you have to make those moves to do that, which is going to be developing those skills and working hard and looking at other opportunities that you can have to maybe buy a house somewhere else or get a job somewhere else or make more money off on your own in a side business or something, so you have that personal freedom later down the line. So that's what I'm seeing for you, Aries. If that resonates, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends, and have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, up next we have Taurus rising and sun. So for you guys, this new moon happening on 27th of April is in your first house. It is a tense new moon because it's a part of a T-square. So the moon and sun are 7 degrees of Taurus, making a square to both Mars and Pluto, which are in opposition. Mars is in your 4th, Pluto's in your 10th. What does this mean for you guys? Well, first of all, I feel like wherever this new moon is where we are having some kind of materialization of something or the validation of something. And for you guys happening in the first house, I think that this has quite a bit to deal with your approach to life, maybe some aspects even of your personality or your perspective at this time, especially when it comes to things of the emotional nature with the Queen of Cups. I really feel like you guys are trying to turn over some kind of new leaf. For many of you, this will involve relationships based off of the cards that I'm seeing, though this doesn't particularly just have to talk about relationships. This could be anything that you are emotionally invested in at this point. There's something in your life that I feel like you guys have a habit or a way of responding to things, or these kinds of patterns in your dynamics with people or your approach to life that is habitual in nature, that this new moon is trying to create tension and maybe even some stress in order for you to be able to kind of get out of a rut in a way, get unstuck or get out of a pattern. And I see that with this Death card and the Strength card. I think it's going to take quite a bit of courage for you to end something in your life that, again, has to deal with some kind of ongoing pattern for you guys. So this Death card could indicate the ending of a stagnating relationship, a relationship pattern that you keep falling into with different types of people that ends up with the same themes running through them. This could be, the decision to just leave something toxic behind on an emotional level, or leave certain comfort zones behind, like an emotional security blanket that you keep within yourself. I really see that, and we'll get to this in a second. I really see quite a lot going on here in terms of reclusiveness and being alone. So part of the security blanket could be that you guys are used to spending a lot of time alone. It's going to differ from person to person. Maybe some of you are overly independent. Maybe some of you are overly relationship oriented and in the wrong relationship. Maybe some of you guys just need to put yourself out there and try for more things in life, but you've been kind of playing it safe in certain ways. And this Strength card and Death card speaks to ending this cycle and having the courage to maintain it, having the courage to kind of fight your own fears and your inner demons and not fall back into the patterns of comfort or of emotional response, habitual emotional response. So This new moon, like I mentioned, is squaring Mars in the fourth, opposing Pluto in the 10th. The fourth house is the most private house in the, I was going to say in the zodiac, I guess in the chart. And the 10th house is the most public house. So I'm seeing this opposition here within the self where I feel like you guys have certain life goals or aspirations or you desire something. But part of you with the Hermit in reverse and the King of Wands in reverse, part of you is struggling a little bit right now with reclusiveness and being alone or not putting yourself out there enough, not being confident in yourself enough, not taking maybe certain chances in life with certain things that could help get your name out there or could help you date or could help you get out of like if you're dating maybe the wrong person or maybe you're in a rut with that person, you're always like at home or you're always hanging out with that one person. It's going to look different for everybody, but I just see you needing to get out of this kind of pattern or this stuck energy that likely involves somebody else or involves relationship patterns in general and needing to put yourself out there more in the world. And this does take quite a bit of confidence, but I feel like you guys haven't been proactive with this King of Wands in reverse. Maybe you guys have been not really reliable, or like sometimes you'll show up, sometimes you won't. Maybe you don't take certain risks or chances because you're lacking the confidence and the assertiveness. And this new moon is trying to help create that level of distress to force you into action, to force you out into the world, to get you out of this comfort zone or this kind of lull of, safety, which isn't actually safety in the long run. I also see with the Seven of Pentacles, Two of Cups, and the Two of Wands in reverse, I feel like you guys are wanting something really stable in a relationship, or there's some kind of goal in life that you want really badly and you can see yourself working on it, and maybe it takes quite a bit of time and effort and energy. But with the Two of Wands in reverse, I also think that you haven't been fully acting on it. You haven't been giving it your 100%. So if this is not about a person, I think that it's some kind of life objective that you guys know that you've been kind of sitting around like waiting for it to happen to you versus going out there and being proactive and reaching for it on a day-to-day basis. So I really feel like you guys need to have the courage to step outside of your comfort zone and to not fall back into old patterns. Allow yourself to end or transform certain areas of your life and get out of your shell and put yourself out there into the world a little bit more. So that's what I'm seeing for you, Taurus. I hope that it resonates. If it does, please let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends, and have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, up next, we have Gemini rising and sun. This Taurus new moon happening on April 27th is taking place in your 12th house, and it's at the apex, the sun and moon, of a T-square, which means that the sun and moon is squaring Mars in your third and squaring Pluto in your ninth, and those planets are in an opposition. What does this mean? So a fixed T-square like this, especially on a new moon, creates quite a bit of inner tension. For you guys, I feel like this inner tension is coming from the mind. With the Queen of Swords in reverse, this is speaking to the mind being quite a bit scattered or anxious, overthinking. Maybe you have too many ideas or thoughts and options. This can also indicate being overly self-critical or being a little bit too analytical of something, like cutting off something before it can fully bear fruit. So like, let's say an idea pops into your head about something that can benefit you in your future. This is you automatically cutting it off because you just assume that it won't happen, or you just have almost like this, you're just being overly like practical and logical in a way that doesn't give opportunities the space to flourish in new and creative ways. So I feel like you guys not have I don't think you have a fixed mindset, though this is a fixed T-square. Fixed signs are quite immovable and can have a rigid concept of something. That could be the possibility for you guys a little bit here, where you kind of want something your way, or you see something happening in a specific way and you're holding on to it. So that could be a potential, or there could just be more of a fixation and a rumination. And when you're in this really mental energy, it doesn't always leave space, again, for creativity or unexplored ideas to come plant themselves. And I really feel like, again, with this Four of Cups, it's creating almost like this apathy, this disconnection, not acting on certain opportunities. Maybe you are kind of longing for something of the past, or for something that you're feeling like that's not available to me. It's like you're, again, kind of cutting off things before it can happen. And then you're longing for it in this weird way, even though you're the one who's refusing some type of idea or opportunity. You're the one contributing towards stagnation or apathy. And it's like you're stuck in a daydreaming energy, but not quite allowing yourself to get out of that and into a place of solution. So, what is this new moon trying to ask you to do? We see the tension with Mars in the third opposite Pluto in the ninth. We can see this inner turmoil that comes from being too in the head and then stressing and fearing around, why can't I have something? But this is a new moon in the 12th, and the 12th house is extremely spiritual. It's not of the material world. And there's something about this experience that's trying to get you out of the head and into more of the soul, or even the physical body, in a way that is a spiritual experience, like spending time in hiking in nature, for example. So I can see with this new moon in the 12th and this temperance card, you're meant to come into a place of greater balance, of peace, of trust. There might be this feeling of having to figure everything out. And then from that mental place, you get really stuck and in this kind of loop, and you see only the negatives. And from a place of greater surrender or time in nature, where you get to disconnect from your mind and just kind of be present in the moment, it will help you come into a place of inner calm that can offer you the perspective and the sense of peace that brings more creativity, so that you can find some type of solution to the problem or some kind of opportunity, whereas before you were only seeing closed doors. A big part of this with the moon card is trusting in the unknown and being willing to move through life without seeing what's around the next corner. So your mind is going to overdrive trying to figure things out. You are a Gemini rising, which is, ruled by Mercury. It's an air sign. It wants to have the idea, the plan, wants to understand something through and through. And part of this new moon for you is creating enough tension within the logical mind that you realize that there is no outlet there. There is no solution there, that desire for really understanding something isn't leading you to actually understanding it, to having a plan. The only way to get through it is by understanding that there is going to be quite a bit of unknowns, and accepting and surrendering to that fact, and just kind of flowing a little bit more in a present kind of mentality of, let me deal with what is right in front of me. Let me take some space. Let me go outside and rest, in whatever way that looks like, so that I can disconnect from my mind to have the solutions come to me. And they're only going to be probably the solution to the problem right here, right now, and not the whole entire plan. And that's really intentional for this Taurus new moon. And I think it's trying to help you come into a place of being very trusting of your own intuition, of enjoying life within the present moment, or, right now, and maybe the next immediate step, instead of trying to have your mind grasp onto a whole long-term solution or plan. It's like, how can we be creative? How can we be intuitive and inspired and daydream about life in this moment right here, right now, and act from that place of beauty and inspiration and excitement, and almost have more of a feminine energy where you're flowing and receiving the messages from the universe, rather than trying to get ahead of the universe and control things. So this is really your message, Gemini. I think you got to get out of your head, into nature, into your body, into a state of flow and trust. Worry about that next right step and not 10 steps ahead. And you'll find that you have a lot more solutions, whereas before you might have kept closing the doors without realizing it, or finding more problems. So that's what I'm seeing for you. If that resonates, I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends, and have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, it makes you have Cancer, rising, and sun. So for you guys, this Taurus new moon that's happening on April 27th is taking place in your 11th house. This is also a very important new moon because it's making a T-square to Mars opposite Pluto. Mars in your second, Pluto in your eighth. T-squares cause quite a bit of tension. For you guys, I feel like there are a lot of unknowns that are creating this tension. So, what I feel like you guys are starting off with is maybe coming from a place of lacking clarity around your future or around some kind of plan. You guys might even be thinking pessimistically. The sun card in reverse can indicate where our light is dimming a little bit. Or if that's not the case for you, maybe you feel fine, but there are with the 7 of cups maybe so many different ideas that are kind of swarming around your head that creates a little bit of this feeling of being kind of pulled in a lot of directions or disoriented in a way that you might feel inspired in certain moments and then kind of down in others. So I'm getting maybe like a mixed energy for you guys. And this can be really common for Mars in the second opposite Pluto in the eighth. There's usually a really strong desire for some type of sense of security. This feeling of either having money or having, the right kind of job or the right kind of plan or owning the right things or having the right house or having the right support. There's something here where I feel like you guys really are probably feeling uncertain or stressed about having some type of secure foundation in your life that will help you build into the future. So this could even be something like a partnership or again some kind of financial security or your long-term home. It can look different for everyone, or even just self-worth, where you could have moments where you're feeling really sure of yourself and your ability to achieve something or go for something or even what you want, and then other times you could feel like you have quite a bit of doubt and you don't even know what you want. Am I on the right path? So it's going to look different for a lot of you. I feel like this is one of those that kind of have one of those piles that has a lot of directions that I can go in. But I just get the sense that you guys are somewhat like floundering, like not drowning, but when you're on the surface and you're just really trying to stay afloat. That's the vibe that I'm getting from you guys. You're like, where am I going? I'm just trying to survive right now. I don't know exactly where I'm going. And a new moon in the 11th house, it wants that sense of direction. So that's what I feel like you guys are ultimately moving towards. But you first have to experience some level of tension around maybe insecurity or not knowing where you're headed in order for this to be uncomfortable enough to spur some type of plan, some type of idea. And it's important because I think you guys need to make some major change in your life, or you're needing to recover after a major change. So either way, it's kind of disorienting, and it needs to be disorienting and uncomfortable enough for you to grab onto some kind of lifeboat or life vest or whatever and get to where you're meant to go. Hopefully that makes sense. So I got the Page of Swords. This is, again, somebody having ideas, somebody having a plan. This could be also like having, research, like going online and researching different things, or maybe talking to different people. If there's some kind of unfairness in your life, this very much could be you trying to find some type of way out of that, or some type of balance in your life, or achieve some type of fairness in a relationship or within society. So I feel like you guys are kind of at the drawing board a little bit here. And then we have the Four of Wands and the Tower card. So the Four of Wands speaks to kind of having this like happy home and things being really stable and feeling really secure with how things are and having a good community surrounding you, which is an 11th house topic. But then we have the Tower after it. So two messages. I think that some of you guys are needing to make some kind of change. So maybe you need to change up your current community. Maybe you need to change up even the kind of dynamics that you have with your loved ones, maybe who you work with or how you achieve security. Maybe you need to make money in new ways or add on different things to achieve security. So this is like you maybe being stressed about, how am I going to make enough money? How am I going to feel stable in the future? And that tension spurs you to look for some kind of external opportunity to add on to what you're currently doing to make more money, for example. So I feel like you guys, again, are in ideation mode, planning mode, research mode, and it's going to help you realize the shifts that you need to make in order to either recover from something that has maybe broken your sense of security or your happy home or your roots, or it could help you make a necessary change to your life in order to create that security where there once wasn't. So, either way, I think you guys need to do something to make yourself have some kind of long-term plan to feel more secure. And whatever that looks like, if you need to fight for something that's fair, like if you're getting a divorce, for example, and you need, money from your partner for your kid, like this is you going and fighting for that. Or this could be getting another job, or this could be considering new kinds of ways of going about your plans to ensure that you are secure in the long run. So whatever this is, I feel like that's the ultimate goal for you guys, is to have some kind of plan for security, and you need to feel that confusion, that uncertainty, that discomfort in order to initiate this planning process. Definitely talk to people, get outside in your community, talk to people who've been through similar situations as you, do research online, because that is how you're going to form the plan that will help you feel secure in the future. So that is what I'm seeing for you, Cancer. If that resonates, I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share it with your friends, and have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, makes you have Leo rising and sun. This Taurus new moon happening on April 27th is taking place in your 10th house. It is a tense new moon because it's making a T-square with Mars opposite Pluto. Mars is in Leo, which is in your house, your first house, and it's opposing Pluto in your 7th house. So what does this mean for you guys? Well, this new moon, I feel like, is trying to help us build something in the material reality. And for you, with this happening in the area of career and life goals, and this is a very material house, like ambition and success and monetary value for things, I feel like you guys are definitely feeling some inner tension in regards to how that's going. And I really feel like there's some kind of area of your life with this Empress in reverse that has dried up, some kind of resource that has kind of run out, or some opportunity that's kind of run its course, or maybe things are slow. If you have your own business, things could be slow right now, or maybe things feel like they are not, fair in terms of what you're getting paid, or there might be this feeling of no longer enjoying something as much if it's not monetary. I think it'll be monetary for a lot of you guys, but there's this feeling of feeling. Yeah. There's this, I guess, theme here around the well running dry, whereas before you thought it was just really kind of flowing quite nicely. And this new moon in the 10th house is here to help you establish some kind of new idea into your material reality. So this could be a new marketing plan for your business, or trying to adjust your approach with something, or even start a totally new endeavor. There's just something that I think you guys need to kind of dig your heels into, or go more in depth with, or work harder towards, or have some kind of new insight around, in order for something to become financially successful, or in order for a goal to start to materialize in the reality. So if it's become stagnant, if it's become slow, and you're not sure if you're going to receive the resources that you need to change your approach, or have a slightly new goal in your life in order for this to materialize. So what's the tension that is going to help you kind of get into action around this? We all sometimes need some level of tension or anxiety or issue to spur some type of change. That's what Mars opposite Pluto in this chart represents. So Mars being in your first house, I really feel like you guys maybe have been kind of doing a lot of things, but I'm not really seeing them take hold. I see this with the Six of Swords and the Ace of Swords. It's just a lot of ideas. Maybe you're doing quite a bit of, you're like in a period of transition on an idea, but you might lack, with the Emperor in reverse, you might lack consistency, or you might not be implementing things in necessarily the correct way, like you're lacking discipline. There's just something here where I feel like there might be a little bit of an impulsive energy. It's going to differ from person to person. You might be pursuing a lot of different things, or you might do like you might pursue one idea for a short period of time and then back off, and then you change and you go to another idea and you never really give it enough time to see it through. So it's going to differ again from person to person, but there's something here around having plans, having an idea, and always being on the move towards that idea, but never really grounding it into something, never really maybe making the investment that you need, or making the schedule that you need, or getting the help that you need. Whatever that is, it's like you're not taking some kind of physical consistent leap forward, or consistent steps forward with this. And as a result, things are not just going to flow to you anymore. It's almost like you need to create more structure, or invest more in the foundation of something, or be more consistent with your endeavors with something in order to see it through to the finish line. And I feel like cards that represent that are the Knight of Wands and then the Temperance card after it. This kind of represents somebody who jumps right in and they have so much energy to get started. They're so excited. They're so passionate. But then this card is saying with the Temperance that you really want to come from a place of moderation. Don't just lead with passion. As a Leo, that might be something that you really want to do, especially with Mars in your sign. You really want to follow your creative endeavors and get really excited about something. But this is a Taurus new moon. Taurus is practical. Taurus is slow. Taurus has a plan. They don't rush things. And so if you are going in guns blazing, it might be hard to be consistent or keep that level of energy all the way through. Just like you wouldn't run a marathon where you're sprinting at the beginning because you might collapse halfway through. So you want to start off pacing yourself and kind of use the energy that you're having with Mars and channel it in a healthy way into a long-term production. And it might be important with this Mars opposite Pluto. You might have tension that comes up within relationships. There could be people who maybe you're comparing yourself to, or people who you disagree with when it comes to the way to go about something. So this Mars opposite Pluto could indicate that you kind of need to adjust the relationships here as well, when it comes to the pacing of this, how that influences the pacing of your goal. So that is what I'm saying for you, Leo. It's time to take things nice and steady and, keep consistent with something, keep some kind of structure or routine, and that's going to get you to your goal. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed this, please don't forget to like and comment on this video, subscribe, share with your friends, and have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, next we have Virgo rising and sun. This Taurus new moon happening on April 27th is occurring in your 9th house. And it's a kind of intense new moon because it's a part of this T-square where it's squaring this Mars-Pluto opposition. Mars is in your 12th in Leo, and Pluto is opposite in the 6th house. So a new moon squaring, new moon in a T-square presents a certain amount of tension inside or even in their environment in order to create some type of change. We need sometimes friction and discomfort to propel us to move forward. So what are you guys moving forward in? So I think many of you guys are taking some kind of practical steps forward to develop some kind of skill, to learn more, to join some kind of organization, to maybe study at a university or underneath a mentor. With the Hierophant and the Eight of Pentacles, and with this new moon being in the 9th house of higher education and travel, I think that you guys are trying to somehow up-level your life. So this is, again, some type of skill development, some kind of maybe up-leveling into a leadership position, or you teaching other people, or you studying under other people in order to better perform with something. There's just something here where I feel like you are proving your skills by further going into more experiences that involve those skills, or to further learn about those skills. So there's something here where you're going to up-level your life. And I think for many of you, it could come on the back with the Queen of Wands in reverse of realizing, hey, I sat down to do X, Y, and Z thing, and I started to feel insecure. I started to see where I'm lacking maybe some knowledge or confidence. And I know that I would do a lot better if I had more experience and could build this skill more. Some of you guys might also be feeling like you are jealous or comparing your life to someone else. Maybe you're seeing someone do something that you want to do, and that is also a motivator for you. So whatever this is, I feel like you guys are realizing, hey, I could be more confident. I could grow more. I could take more chances in my life. I could take more risks. And the best way to do that is to make sure that I am well equipped, that I have all of the tools, all of the skills, all of the resources necessary to make sure that I can elevate my life. So if you're seeing that you want to have some type of change, this is you doing the research or doing kind of the background work in a way to make sure that you have the ability to elevate and progress your life in that way. However, it is coming, this change is coming as a result of some type of tension, or it is in conflict, I guess, with inner tension that is going to ultimately drive you to accomplish this. So what is that tension? Mars in the 12th opposite Pluto in the 6th. So for many of you, there is some type of major life adjustment with the Tower card. Maybe you guys are going to have to make some kind of sacrifice. Maybe you're going to have to destroy something that you're currently doing, leave something that is foundational for you, or you maybe are scared or intimidated by that fact where you're like, well, if I go and I study this thing, or if I go to pursue this next level in something, that means that I might have to leave where I currently am, or that I'm going to have to take this kind of risk, or that my normal job isn't going to be feasible in this way. I'm going to have to also study, and what is that going to look like if I'm doing both? So there's something here about your routine, again, the foundations of your life, the structures of your life, the things that you feel secure about, your home, even like where you're living, all those things could adjust and move and kind of be ripped out from under you in some type of way. And so, Mars in the 12th is a lot around this experience of loss and having to flow with life and not do your best to kind of embrace the unknown that can come from, experiencing something shifting on such a foundational kind of bedrock level of your life. And that can cause quite a bit of anxiety with this Mars opposite Pluto. Mental, physical things can come up for you. Quite a bit of limiting beliefs with the Devil card can come up. All of the fears, all of that mental chatter with Pluto being involved, all the things that could go wrong. And what if I take this risk or this chance, or I try to up level in this way and X, Y, and Z happens. And then that foundation that I just destroyed, I'm not going to be able to come back to it, and all these things. So it can be something that really creates a lot of noise within us. And so it's important right now to not buy into that noise as much as you can. There is some type of, like leap of faith kind of energy here in some type of way. So, we also have the 5 of Swords in reverse. So this card can really speak around kind of letting down some of that inner fight, like trying to lay down the sword. So if you're fighting, you're having tension. This is about trying to step away from that, trying to have some, peaceful resolution, or so it's like if you're building up these scenarios in your head, or you're super anxious around making some type of transition, and that creates a lot of inner dialogue where you're fighting yourself, how do you release that stress? How do you come to a place where you realize that you're strong enough to overcome the challenges that may arise as a result of shifting the bedrock of your life? Again, you are kind of risking something in a really major way, and there are inherent challenges in that. There are going to be hurdles that come up, or stress that comes up. And I think it's really important that there is some type of recognition of that, but also an acceptance of that. And that's a really major part of this chapter of your life, is that realizing sometimes when you up level, you have to kind of break down the old life. And that does come with some loss, some sacrifice, some change, some stress, and its own hurdles and challenges, but it will be worth it once you have those skills. It will help you develop enough confidence to take even different chances as a result of this, and moving up even further up the ladder in your life in whatever way that you find appealing. So that's what I'm seeing for you, Virgo. This is a time for you to embrace the discomfort and move forward anyway. I hope that this is helpful for you. If it is, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends, and have a beautiful day. If you want a reading from me, you can always find that in my description box down below. And I hope you guys take care. Bye. All right, up next we have Libra rising and sun. This Taurus new moon happening on April 27th is taking place in your 8th house. It is a tense new moon because it is involved in a T-square where the new moon is in the 8th house and it's squaring Mars and squaring Pluto, and these planets are in opposition. So Mars is in the 11th, Pluto's in the 5th. 8th, 5th, 11th house, these are all social and relational houses. So what is happening for you guys is there is trying to be some type of new stability found within your relationships. With the 3 of Cups here, I feel like this really describes emotional closeness, intimacy, feeling, I guess, more like yourself in relationships, feeling like things are fun, like things are light but also deep at the same time, where you can unmask yourself, where you can connect with others in a profound way but also have fun and feel accepted for who you are and be able to joke around. So there's a sense of being able to just feel supported, feel loved, feel connected, and have greater intimacy in relationships. This could be one specific relationship, this could be friends, this could be whatever. Mars in the 11th really speaks to friendships, but 8th house speaks to all important intimate relationships. So that's something that you guys want to stabilize, you guys want to create right now. However, I am seeing some degree of inner turmoil that is coming from past painful experiences. And this is what Mars opposite Pluto can do, is it can bring up a lot of tension, anxiety, uncertainty, but it's doing that for us to realize what we need to propel to change in our life. And with the 3 of Swords upright and the 2 of Swords in reverse, I really feel like you guys have been hurt by people, disappointed with people, and you're kind of carrying that forward. So there might be a way in which you're overly cautious when it comes to opening up to others. Maybe you get too much into your head, or maybe you're still processing emotional pain from past relationships and it's weighing on your heart, and it's hard to open up fully or have fun and be lighthearted in other relationships. Or maybe you're still holding on to resentment or still feel anxious when it comes to social connections. Maybe you get a little bit more aloof or emotionally detached, or you just have your guards up. Whatever this is, it's separating you from true intimacy within your dynamic with others to hold on to this pain from past relationships. And the message from Spirit with the 10 of Wands in reverse is to lay down that burden. And you lay down that burden by opening up to people, by sharing your fears, by sharing your resentments, by going to therapy if that's the best outlet for you. Whatever this is, it's sharing your heart and mind with another person so that you feel like there is an outlet to express energy instead of just trapping it inside. So you're not bearing all that burden alone, and you can release it, release the stress from that. This will help you start to imagine what it is that you really desire in your relationships and to focus more on the intention of what you want to create rather than the thing that you are fearful of having. With the King of Wands in reverse, I still feel like you guys might be a little bit trepidatious when it comes to putting yourself out there. This is a card where we might be afraid to kind of go against the grain or to expose ourselves or to be different from people because maybe we don't want to be judged or we don't want to be rejected or hurt like we were in the past. So you guys might be showing up inconsistently, or you might be afraid to show up at all, or fearful of people that are maybe a little bit aggressive or rude or who have been abusive in your past. So this is part of the energy that you're needing to let go of. You're needing to come more into a place of enthusiasm and confidence and like a magnetic energy that will help you attract relationships into your life. And more importantly, enjoy those relationships from a place of fun and intimacy. That is the ultimate goal for you here, my beautiful Libra risings. I see that happening with the Three of Cups. I see you coming into a place of joy and love and connection with others, but I think you first need to lay down these resentments or pains of the past in order to get to that place. So that's what I'm seeing. I hope that this resonates. If it does, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends, and have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, it makes you Scorpio rising and sun. This Libra new moon happening on April 27th is taking place in your 7th house of relationships. This is a tense new moon because it is involved in a T-square, which means that this new moon is squaring both Mars and Pluto, the planets that are in opposition. Mars is in your 10th, Pluto is in your 4th. This is definitely going to indicate that you guys are going to have some inner emotional stuff going on that could be preventing you from making the necessary progress in the area of relationships that you're looking for. Let's break this down. So I feel like you guys are, what you're materializing, or this new beginning that you're wanting to have, is to have some kind of plan for your relationships. So there's could be so many things. I have lots of ideas. So some of you guys, this could be, travel plans and trips with friends, or you guys are having social invitations and opportunities coming to you, and you're thinking about, do I want to do this? Do I not want to do this? You guys could be also in a place where you are maybe not totally content with something going on in your current relationship dynamics with one or more people, and you might be looking at kind of, oh, what about those kinds of relationship dynamics? That's more of what I want. Like the grass is greener on the other side, and you could go want to pursue new types of dynamics with new people. And you might have that opportunity here with the Page of Cups. This is usually some type of invitation or connection, or an ideal. So some of you guys could be dreaming about like the perfect relationship, and idealizing something. So whatever it is, it's either like real plans that you're trying to figure out and make with people, or it could be something that you're wanting some kind of like dream of a type of relationship with a friend or a family member or a romantic partner. And you might need to kind of ground it into reality. And the problem with grounding into reality is that I think that you don't realize that there's some inner work that needs to be done in order to have that ideal relationship. So in order to make all those plans and have a really good time with the people that you love, I think that you first need to kind of get out of this stasis emotionally that you're a little bit stuck in. And I can see that with this Mars in the 10th opposite Pluto in the 4th, there could be quite a bit of energy of kind of reclusiveness with the 4 of Cups and the Hermit card. That's often involved when we have a 4th, 10th house opposition, where we feel we're kind of being called to the external world, but we also have a lot going on in our inner world that's pulling us back into an energy of self-protection or isolation, where we're like, oh, I need more time alone to think about this thing. It's kind of saying no to plans, or not really engaging as much as you could socially. So not asking other people to do stuff. I see you guys with the 2 swords in reverse and the 3 of cups. I see that when you do go to stuff, you might be a little bit more guarded emotionally, kind of withdrawn or holding yourself back. So it's almost like, oh, maybe I'll go or maybe I won't go. And if I do go, I'm not going to give fully of myself. So I'm seeing that there's this energy of you guys wanting these really beautiful relationships and wanting to go to these plans, maybe in your head, and you're kind of idolizing something. Maybe I'll have this plan to meet the love of my life in this place. But then once it actually comes down to that opportunity, I really feel like you guys are holding yourselves back. You're either not going, or you're not fully like putting yourself out there in an emotional way and opening up to people. And I feel like you guys aren't realizing at this time, or maybe you are at this new moon, but you weren't in the past necessarily realizing your participation in this stasis emotionally, or in this disconnect from other people. So that is super important, is to realize where you are playing a role. The other element of this is the King of Cups in reverse and the Justice in reverse. This is kind of speaking more to the same, but the King of Cups in reverse can talk about, actually both of these cards can talk about having relationship imbalances. So I have noticed this with Scorpios. Sometimes they can really take things personally, and they can hold on to things in a little bit of a way where they kind of like exact their revenge by withholding emotionally, or by not trying to reach out as much, or by that tit for tat of like, well, you didn't try to hang out with me, so I'm not going to try to hang out with you, that kind of thing. There's something here around this focus, like this mental focus on imbalance within the relationships, where you might be, again, kind of withdrawing or becoming more turned in on yourself, or even kind of cold to the people around you, or not as fair to those around you, and not realizing that you're doing that. Or maybe you do realize it, but you think that it's fair in your head, like this is retribution for what they did to me, da da da. So there's something here where you guys need to get out of that mentality, because this mentality is emotionally keeping you stuck in a place where you're idealizing and dreaming about a type of relationship that is always going to be out of reach when you are in this state of mind, because people pick up on that. It affects the relationships that you're in. People can feel when you're saying, first of all, they notice when you're absent. They notice when you don't show up to things, when you don't reach out, when you're reclusive. They notice when you're emotionally withdrawn as well. And it's going to be hard to cultivate the relationships that you really desire from that place of disconnection. So the ultimate goal here is to kind of figure out, what do you want, and start to work on opening yourself up. Get out of this kind of mental paradigm that you might be stuck in, emotional paradigm that you might be stuck in, where you have certain beliefs or certain ways of reacting to things that is perpetuating some kind of cycle within relationships that isn't progressing you forward towards the ideals that you're looking for. So that's the ultimate goal here. Quite a bit of inner work, taking some chances, putting yourself out there more, and confronting the fears along the way, or the other resentments or inner turmoil that comes along with that. And you'll find that you get a lot out of taking those chances and doing that inner work, that you might find some kind of new romantic interest, or a new friend, or a deeper connection with somebody that feels like a new relationship in and of itself. So that's what I'm seeing for you, Scorpio. I hope that this does resonate for you. If it does, please comment down below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends, and have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, it makes you have Sagittarius rising and sun. For you, this Taurus new moon happening on April 27th is taking place in your 6th house. So this is an interesting new moon, because as a sign of Taurus, it wants us to materialize something. But for you guys, well, for everyone, it's involved in a T-square, where it's squaring Mars and also squaring Pluto, and these planets are in opposition. Mars is in your 9th, Pluto is in your 3rd. So what does this mean? This basically creates some form of tension in our lives, where it spurs us into action in order to overcome the discomfort and move towards what it is that we want to feel, experience, or materialize. So normally with a new moon in the 6th house, this is very much related to work. And I think for some of you guys, it could be work related, where you want some kind of maybe stability within your work that you maybe don't feel you have right now. This could also be with the level of responsibility that you have. Maybe you guys want more of a fair kind of balance, like you are getting paid a certain amount, or your partner is helping you, or you just have like a reciprocal kind of dynamic. There's something here where I feel like you guys want a little bit more of maybe a slower pace, or greater level of security, or some kind of consistency within the work that you're doing, or your day-to-day life and your responsibilities. Not having to overwork, not having to overextend yourself, for example. So that's kind of what I think is part of what you want to materialize, looking at the astrology. Looking at the cards, though, for what you want to materialize, I see something that feels more oriented towards an emotional experience. With the Star and the 3 of Cups, I feel like this is kind of you guys wanting to have some kind of moment of celebration, or moment in the sun, wanting to feel like you've accomplished something, wanting to be hopeful and look to your future. I don't know. It's like you guys, it's like almost seeing you guys have a vision of some kind of milestone that you accomplish. for example, and celebrating that accomplishment with your friends and with your loved ones, and having this energy of just being like feeling like there's so much that is possible for you guys. So there's some type of energy here of experiencing the joy of an accomplishment and the celebration of what you've done. And then the other thing that I think you want is to come out of a phase of maybe some uncertainty or feeling like things are, yeah, uncertain, or feeling not as confident. Like, where is this going to come from next? Coming out of that phase and into a phase of being very confident, very sure, kind of forging your own path. This is what I want. This is where I'm going. And it's also being reciprocated and being met. So there's something here with that where I feel like you guys are wanting to come into a place of confidence and celebration and ease and optimism, and feeling like maybe your work life or your responsibilities or your health is improving. So if you've had stress in your physical health or your mental health, or if you've been overtaxed or overworked, this new moon is trying to find, or you wanting to try to find, stability and hope, and this feeling of confidence and maybe some sexiness if you've been feeling out of sorts in some type of way, kind of coming back into your body, back into feeling like things are balanced in the right ways. That's what you're wanting. And feeling again like there are the necessary resources or opportunities or fairness within your work or your responsibilities. So what's getting in the way of that? Where is this tension coming from? Well, first of all, we have the Knight of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles in reverse. These are both very physical things. So I find it interesting that even though the new moon in the sixth house should be very physical, like, oh, I got a new job, that's not the vibe that I'm getting. I'm getting more of, I want to feel good. I want to feel hopeful. I want to feel like I'm enjoying my life, like I'm living a balanced life, like I'm confident, like I'm, feeling abundant. But the tension that was coming up for you is much more material. So first of all, with the Four of Pentacles in reverse, I think that some of you guys have been overgiving. Maybe you've been overextending yourself, or maybe you've had a lot of things come up recently in terms of spending, or maybe you've just been taking on a lot or doing things that you don't necessarily really want to do that much. The Four of Pentacles can also indicate feeling a little out of sorts when it comes to money. So that's also a potential where you just maybe don't feel as secure. But I think that a lot of this is just coming from being really busy. I think that having, Mars in the ninth opposite Pluto in the third, there's a lot going on in the mental plane as well. So there could be feeling like an overwhelm, having a lot on your plate, even if it's just from a mental and emotional perspective. The Knight of Pentacles in reverse can represent feeling a little bit impatient around the creation of this peace, or moving towards this confidence or this goal and this hope and this optimism. Maybe you feel like things are trudging along really slowly and you're having to work really hard. And so there can be this energy of like, I have to give so much and I have to sacrifice and I have to overextend myself, and I don't feel the way that I want to feel. So there's something around your perception of things that might need to change. Or maybe your understanding, like your belief about life, or again, the perception of how things are going right now. I almost feel like there's some kind of stubbornness here, or like a fixation on something that might keep you in a cycle of overextending yourself and overthinking things and putting too much stress. And that is kind of zapping out that energy of hope and confidence and feeling like you're good in your, sexy in your skin, or good in your skin. And I can see that with this Two of Pentacles. Again, I feel like you have a lot going on. Maybe you have a lot of different areas of your life that are kind of gnawing on your mind. So maybe you're thinking about the world at large. Maybe you're thinking about your relationship. You're thinking about your future, and you're juggling, dynamics with your kids and your job and your health. And it's a lot that's kind of up in the air, or that requires your attention. And followed by the Hanged Man, this is a card of kind of stagnation in a way, where you might feel like there's a lot going on, but maybe things also feel that not everything is moving forward in the way that you would want it to. And it also requires you to have some kind of change in perspective, like I mentioned. The way that you handle your responsibilities, maybe again, that you take on too much, could indicate that um, that you need to alter the perspective somehow to be able to manage your responsibilities differently or think about life differently to create more of this ease and hopefulness and feeling of being able to have work-life balance. Um, we also have Eight of Pentacles. So I think that this is a skill that you need to develop. And I think that the skill also comes from an emotional place with the Queen of Cups in reverse followed by the Devil in reverse. I feel like you need to kind of develop the skill of maybe being um, not as sensitive, maybe not emotionally overextending yourself. Um, Maybe you lack a sense of trust. Maybe at some points, maybe you have certain insecurities that drive that, or you have maybe a lack of direction with certain things that makes you feel stuck, even though you're not stuck. So there's something here where I think you need to develop more skill of having greater faith and intuition, of maybe emotionally being more regulated. I think that's a big part of this. Maybe being more organized and delegating to other people. Um, just recognizing when you're overextending yourself in some type of way and knowing how to recoup that energy or draw back to yourself. Yeah, so I feel like you guys are wanting to feel just like more yourself. And I think that the thing that's stopping you from doing that is too much, an overload, an overextension, maybe doing the wrong things, even, or just not having the right balance in life. And the only way to get better at that is to have some kind of shift in your perspective so that you're able to come into more of an emotionally balanced place. Maybe you put too much pressure on yourself, for example, or maybe you overthink certain things. And, you know, it's like you're afraid to let any of the balls drop at any point in time. And I feel like that is kind of contributing to this almost like a burnout. And I think that part of your life wants to become a little bit more consistent and stable. And that's often what a Taurus, new moon is about. So that's what I'm seeing for your Sagittarius. If that resonates, I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends. And if you want a reading from me, you can check that out in my description box down below. And I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, it makes you have Capricorn rising and sun. So this new moon in Taurus on April 27th is happening in your fifth house. This, to me, based off of the cards that I pulled, is definitely gearing towards relationships, any kind of relationships, even relationships with your own children, romantic relationships, friendships, feeling like you belong, feeling like you want to connect. This new moon in Taurus is all about stabilizing that area of our life. So before, where you may have felt down and out or insecure or reclusive, this is you kind of coming back to life and wanting to feel that sense of connection again. Let's break this down though, because this new moon is in a tense aspect, a T-square with Mars and Pluto, which are in opposition. Mars is in your eighth, Pluto's in your second. There's quite a bit going on here. So what is the element of tension? Well, first of all, with the Four of Swords, I feel like you guys have been in a period of kind of contemplation. You've been a little bit more, again, reclusive, pulled off on your own. Maybe you've been through some stuff recently that you're processing, either in regards to relationships or it could be something else entirely. But there's something here that I think has kind of taken a hit a little bit to your self-esteem, or has simply just required you to take more time to process it. Now you're coming out of that phase. You are coming back to life in some type of way with the Ace of Cups. You are putting yourself out there in the world again. And maybe you are at least considering this, right? Where you're like, okay, maybe I can come out from my shadows and my healing cocoon and my protection bubble. And it's time to maybe take some kind of chance on emotional vulnerability, or to try to find more connection and intimacy with the people that I love, or resolve things if I've been kind of not really acknowledging certain things. Maybe I try to resolve it and turn over a new leaf with people. But I feel like you guys are still kind of carrying a little bit of this combative energy with Mars in the eighth opposite Pluto in the second. You guys are in a defensive mode where you might feel like you have to kind of stand up for yourself or protect yourself. Maybe you are scared of being dominated again or taken advantage of again, or maybe you have different beliefs than somebody else, or different reactions to things, or different perception of how certain things have gone down in the past, and you're feeling that kind of edge of, I need to protect and guard and defend and maybe even attack, or at least defend my position. And so you guys are kind of coming from that place of being on guard and being a little bit tense. And so that's part of what's kind of keeping you in, from really connecting with people or healing dynamics with people and turning over that new leaf. So I see here with the Temperance, it is about trying to find some kind of balance within yourself, some type of healing, a peace with the past that you've gone through, really recognizing that you're no longer with the Devil in reverse. You're no longer stuck in that situation anymore, that it's time to kind of surrender the past to the past. And with the Hangman, I think really in many ways embody a different kind of perception of your current reality, realizing, okay, I don't need to carry that maybe jadedness forward with me. I can take the high road now. I don't need to be super defensive or be looking out for everyone trying to hurt me. So there's something here where I feel like you guys are kind of coming out of a reclusive energy and a period of distrust, and you're trying to open up more emotionally and connect more with others, with the King of Cups and the Two of Cups. This is an energy around like literally allowing yourself to feel more and to also be more kind of mature. And this could be that you enter into a relationship with someone else who has that mature kind of steadfast energy. Or you could even turn to a counselor, for example, or a therapist who can help you embody that more. But there's a sense of coming into a place of greater calmness, more kind of soft-heartedness, more emotionally balanced perspective, more tolerant, more diplomatic, instead of feeling like I have to defend what I believe happened and whatever. It's like, I'm going to see your perspective. I'm going to come into a place of stability and peace within the relationship, even if that means that I make certain concessions or compromise or be more understanding of the other individual. So that's what I'm seeing for you, my Capricorns. I think that you're coming out of a phase of being reclusive, of being defensive, and you're coming into a phase of being more emotionally accepting, more stable, more grounded. And a lot of that is going to involve just kind of healing and releasing some of those past issues, I guess, or resentments or wounds or trapped energy. You're letting that go in order to be able to come at the relationships from a very lighthearted and open-hearted perspective. So that's what I'm seeing for you. If that makes sense for you, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends, and have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, up next we have Aquarius rising and sun. This Taurus new moon happening on April 27th is taking place in your fourth house. And this is a time when I think you guys are craving a little bit more of a sense of security, maybe some more stability. And we're going to get more into this. But this new moon is making a T-square to a square to Mars and a square to Pluto. And then those planets are in opposition. So it's like this little triangle. Mars is in your seventh, Pluto is in your first. Quite a bit of tension going on here in regards to relationships or dynamics with others and how that fits into your sense of security. This could be talking about, feeling some lack of stability within the home, or having some like fighting or tension when it comes to relationships with other people around money or around work stuff. And there's quite a bit here going on in terms of like people not working as a team. So I feel like you guys are wanting to have maybe more independence and some kind of like relief, because I just feel like this is going to look so different for everyone. This could be talking about a job for somebody. This could be talking about, people working within the home together. and their family relationships, or other types of relationships in your life. But there's something here where it's like not really fair in these dynamics. So let's say this is a home relationship. One person's doing all the laundry, all the cleaning, and the other person does nothing. And that's the kind of lack of teamwork. Or maybe you work for somebody and they don't have a lot of wiggle room. They don't give you a lot of freedom, and they expect a lot from you, or they take a lot from you. And there's not this kind of collaborative energy. So there's something here where I feel like you guys have been a little bit, things have been imbalanced, or you've been under strain as a result of some type of dynamic that's imbalanced. And I think that you guys with the Page of Wands really want to have more freedom in your life. You probably want to feel like you have options, like you can do more things that you enjoy, that you have more money to save with this Four of Pentacles. I really feel like you guys have put a lot into something in your life, and you're wanting the results of that, right? You've worked hard in your life, or you've put effort into your home, or you've put effort into this relationship or into saving money, and you want to enjoy the fruits of those labors by being able to travel or do fun things or start new hobbies or hang out with your friends and spend money in that process, while also being able to save money as well with this Four of Pentacles, while also feeling like I'm secure financially despite being able to do all these things. So there's just something here where I feel like there's maybe a lack of teamwork, and you're really wanting maybe that to be more fair, and you're wanting to have more freedom as well as financial security. And I feel like, yeah, with the Four of Swords in reverse, this is somebody who may be a little bit drained, like they've been kind of burnt out. And yeah, it's almost like, I need support, but I don't have it. I need protection. I need rest, but I don't have it. And I feel like you guys with the Ten of Wands are wanting to set some of these burdens down. You're wanting somebody else to pick up the slack. You're wanting somebody else to maybe give you, maybe your work to give you a bonus or a day off, or for your partner to, do more work around the house, or for somebody to help you plan or to chip in with something. It's like, I feel like you guys want to have more, support, to have more capacity to enjoy life again and save, not have to worry so much about money. And with the Nine of Pentacles, this is somebody who feels like they're really financially independent. They can stand on their own 2 feet. So maybe you guys want to feel this way, that you guys are receiving support, but that at the same time you have what you need, and that you're not vulnerable where somebody could just take something away from you. So I really feel like you guys want to have enough security to have that freedom and that exploration, and not have to, again, be under the thumb of somebody else. But you also at the same time want support from someone else, or things to be more fair. And I can see with the Nine of Wands, this is a card of somebody who's, again, kind of burnt out. Like they've been going hard at whatever this battle is. So this, for example, could be something that's been an ongoing frustration. Maybe your work hasn't been paying you fairly for a long time. Maybe they haven't been giving you enough time off. Maybe your partner hasn't been fair. Maybe it's been hard to save money, and it's been this ongoing cycle or pattern, and it's getting really tiring and draining you. And this card is like an exhaustion almost, of like, I have to keep the fight. And this is part of what I think you are meant to be releasing, is trying to find the right dynamics with people, or confront something in a way to create the right dynamics, so that you do feel that you are able to have that reciprocal relationship. Because I almost sense with this Hierophant card and the Six of Pentacles in reverse, I feel like somebody has some kind of authority here. I'm getting the feeling of like a boss, or someone in the relationship who says, well, I make more money, so I get to decide if you get to spend that money on vacation. Or, somebody who gets to decide if you have time off. It's like somebody has the say over you, or they are someone that you have to turn to for the rules. And they're being unfair with it, with the Six of Pentacles in reverse, or however the rules are set up is somehow making you feel drained or doing you an injustice. And this is like an ongoing dynamic. So there's something here within your relationships that I feel like you guys are just needing to find more support so that you can have more freedom. I feel like you need more financial freedom. So I don't know what you need to do exactly, but you need to address this with this person or this entity. Or maybe you need to save more money on your own to create that freedom. So if you can't change the relationship itself or the company itself, which you probably could, but if you can't, having more financial freedom, I think, is going to give you the possibility to do more of what you love and not feel so imbalanced in your life. But I do think that whoever this is involving needs to pick up more of that slack and help support you and create more of that teamwork dynamic, because that's what you deserve. And if you need to have that tension and discomfort in order for you to realize that you're not working as a team and that it's not fair, then that's what this new moon is going to give you. And it will help you create more of a solid foundation within yourself, within your home, within your financial security, in order to be able to create that teamwork. So I hope that makes sense. If it does, if that resonates, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends, and have a beautiful day. And don't forget, if you want a reading from me, you can check me out at my website in the description box down below. Have a great day. Bye. All right, last but not least, we have Pisces rising and sun. This new moon on April 27th in Taurus is happening in your third house. So this is a tense new moon because it's taking part in a T-square. So the new moon is at the apex and it's squaring Mars in your 6th and squaring Pluto in the 12th. And Mars and Pluto are in opposition to one another. So what does this mean? It means that there's something that we are being kind of spurred on to materialize or to make real, because that's what a Taurus new moon is about. And for you, this could be some kind of decision or plan, with this being in your third house, or having an important conversation or again, decision, making up your mind. But we're being spurred to that place because of some kind of tension in our inner world or within our life with this Mars opposite Pluto. So okay, let's start off with the tension. With the Two of Pentacles and the Eight of Cups in reverse, there is something in your life that you are juggling right now, that you are needing to walk away from, but you are not having the confidence to do so. This could be something work related, because Mars is in the 6th house. So if it's something, in terms of, again, work or responsibility, there could be something here that you're trying to hold on to one kind of safeguard when you need to let go in order to go after the thing that would actually make you successful or would make you happy. It's like somebody working 2 jobs because, or like, let's say they're doing their own business and a job, and they're keeping that job and they don't want to let it go, even though it's time to move on from that. So there's something like that in your life. This could also be in terms of a partnership with someone or a relationship with someone, or just trying to go after or juggle too many endeavors. So it's something like that. Again, it could be with a person. It could be with, something related to work. But I just feel like you guys are trying to do a little bit too much out of a place of scarcity or fear that if I let this thing go, I might not have enough, or like a feeling of lack, essentially. And the Eight of Cups in reverse suggests that it's time to move on, but there is that fear there's that hesitation. With the Strength in reverse and the 10 of Cups in reverse, this is kind of pointing to why there's hesitation. And this really stems from Pluto being in the 12th, where there is a lot of fear around the unknown and a feeling like a lack of empowerment in a way, with the Strength in reverse, where we're like, am I strong enough? Am I courageous enough? Am I brave enough to let this thing go, to walk away from it? I don't know if I am. Even though with the 10 of Cups, in your heart of hearts, you know that that thing is not actually going to fulfill you, that it's a dead end in your life, that it doesn't have the prosperity or the potential to keep you going in any real capacity. So this relationship could be something that is dwindling, that's not giving you any kind of return on investment emotionally, and you know it, but you stay in it anyway. Or that job that you keep on the side, you know that's not what you want long term, but you keep going with it anyway. Or even some other kind of responsibility. So there's something with this that you're investing in that you're too cowardly the lion, to leave, even though you know that it's distracting you, that it's taking you away from your focus on what matters, on what would actually bring you success and happiness. And you know it's a dead end, but you're struggling to let that go. So that is the tension that's happening inside of you. But what you guys want right now is the Six of Wands. And this is a new moon in the third house. So there's something here where it's like having some type of mental breakthrough, and the potential to feel like you're doing more of what you want, or you're mobilizing more of what you want to see moving in your life. The Six of Wands is a card of triumph, of success, of victory, of recognition, of confidence, of being in the spotlight, of being proud of yourself, of feeling strong. The opposite of that strength card in reverse is the Six of Wands upright. So you guys are wanting to embody more of this winning mentality, this mentality of confidence and self-assuredness. I think that you guys are wanting this period of some type of breakthrough on a mental level, and then also on a physical level. But again, I feel like you've been, at least in the past, kind of holding on for dear life a little bit with this Four of Pentacles. You know, like, I don't want to let go of this person. I don't want to let go of this job or this possession. I don't want to move houses. I don't want to make this change because of that fear of like, what if I let it go and it never comes back to me again? Or if I lose that and nothing fills its place. But the ironic thing is, with the Ten of Wands in reverse, once you let it go, it's going to be a relief. It's going to be like, oh, I finally can breathe. I have time now. I have energy. I can focus on what really matters to me. I can put all my energy into this thing that can actually lead me to that success and that recognition that I'm looking for, instead of dispersing my energy across multiple avenues and then feeling, downtrodden, or feeling like a lack of confidence because you didn't believe in yourself and you're trying to do too many things out of that lack consciousness. So I see you guys, once you let it go, once you have that courage, it's going to give you so much time back. It's going to remove some of that extra responsibility that's unnecessary, that extra drain on your energy and focus. And it's going to help revitalize you so you can get into the right mindset, so that you can take the right action, so that you can start mobilizing again the area of your life that you want to see momentum in. And you can only do that by cutting off that cord of whatever this energy suck is in your life. And I think it's work related, but you guys will know what it is. Could be relationships too. So anyway, that's what I see for you, Pisces. I hope that resonates. You can absolutely do this, and this new moon will help you do this right now. It's something that you've been thinking about really since the beginning of February and March. So it's not anything new, and now is a time to act. So if this resonates, let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you want a reading from me, also don't forget to check out my website in the description box down below. And I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Bye.